So, before we get into it, we need to know what is SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. So that's a digital marketing acronym which involves the fact where you actually, as far as see when it comes to SEO, it's about having a system from as far as it goes, actually, like, for example, knowing how to increase your actual web rankings, so to actually score you higher on search engines like Google. And we need to know that when it comes to SEO, it's all about, for example, trying to drive your impressions, trying to drive your click-through rate, trying to, you could say, be relevant in terms of how you are ranked on Google, how you are ranked on Bing, how you are ranked on Yahoo.
Bing, who uses that?
So why is this important? Well, as digital marketers, we want to be able to score our online marketing goals. And the way I see it is that when it comes to SEO is like you've got an army of, you could say, spider bots. So each time you put a search query when it comes to Google, you're releasing an army of spider bots. So it's actually creeping out amongst the web. And they're actually picking out all these kind of content from, say, videos, blog articles, a website, a podcast, and obviously from that, they actually process it like an engine and then give you back an answer. And that's how we've got to see it as, obviously, as digital marketers, we want to be able to ensure that we are relevant, that we are in the first or the second page of Google, and we actually know about how to be able to position ourselves well and create relevance for when online users actually want to search for us. So, as you can see, through the on and off diagrams, we've got two different ways of how we can do SEO. We've got on-page, and as well as we've got off-page. Now, on-page SEO is more along the lines of it's within your control, it's within your free will, as well as the fact it's within your actual reach of how you manage to build up your web rankings, how you construct your website to be able to know that as far as it goes, when it comes to your web page though, you need to know about how it's relevant to what someone is searching for you. And this can be done in a matter of ways such as through your content. When it comes to your website, are you putting up relevant pictures? Are you putting up relevant blog articles? Are you putting up relevant content that actually allows people to say that this is what I'm looking for, this is relevant to my search query? And that's what we should bear in mind when it comes to on-page SEO. Also, it's falling down to your web structure because, as we know, the more web pages that you have on your website, the more Google is going to pick that up for you to be able to become relevant amongst your kind of target audience, your online visitors. When we think about off-page SEO, it's more along the lines of indirect linking. So what I mean by indirect linking in the sense where you have different kind of, you could say, websites that actually refer you. So for example, let's say if you had, for example, a famous entrepreneur that actually had, say that, for example, a video interview, most likely that person that is publishing there would actually link them back to their website. Now, obviously, they're actually linking them from their off page. And as far as it goes, you see from their website, as soon as they embed their link and it clicks you, it actually takes you back to their website. That is off page because obviously that's not the person's website, but they are part of how people find them out online. So now, why is it as marketers do we care about SEO? Why is it important? As you can see from all of these factors are very important to how they actually contribute to what is SEO and how are we going to actually be able to execute it out, whether you're a brand, whether you're a business, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you're someone that actually has an online portfolio. For example, when it comes to keywords, think this way. Are you anticipating your online user search behavior? So before you be able to think of the keywords, be able to think of what kind of content, what your website is about, you've got to understand the fact where I need to be in the final user's mind. I need to think about what would they actually type in on Google? What would they type in terms of a phrase, be it a keyword, be it a text? And am I going to be the first person that pops up when it comes to a search page? When it comes to metadata, that relates to more, say, the actual technical side of, are you the right source? Are you relevant? Are you being able to, say, build up what it actually takes for me to be able to be scored a little higher when it comes to Google? The same thing can be related to header tags, titles, your content, alt text. All these parts all contribute to your description. So you need to be very precise with the way that you are actually defining what your web page is about, what your content is, So therefore, you will be more likely to actually score higher, and actually Google will actually be able to start ranking higher for that. So now, the main thing when it comes to SEO is that we need online authority. Everyone wants online authority. Hands up, anyone want online authority? Of course, you want online authority, don't you? And this is how it works. So, if we look at this survey right now, we can see that when I typed in coaches in the UK, what comes up first? National Express. How many of us say use National Express to go to London or to go to any part of the UK? Of course, and why is that? That's because they're the market leaders when it comes to travel. They're the market leaders when it comes to actually ranking. People are most likely to book it in terms of, you could say, cheap coach tickets and to be able to get to places at the most lowest fare. And that's why they're ranked higher, because most people are actually searching from them and actually converting from them.
Mate, it's 6 hours of absolute hell from Leicester to Heathrow.
Of course, of course. So now, secondly, we've also got Black Friday. Who ain't excited about Black Friday next month? Black Friday. Black Friday, of course.
I'm staying home. I'm
So,
staying at
when it
home.
comes to Black Friday, we know that it's money. We know that it's a case where people will be fighting just to get the latest discount, and we know that when you type that in on Google, the three most, you could say, example companies that actually come up will be Argos, The Sun, and Amazon. The reason why Argos is there in terms of whether you want a great bargain. The Sun obviously talks about the news as well as the latest happenings on Black Friday when it comes this year. And Amazon, everyone wants to shop online for cheaper discounts. So these main players, these main companies all have authority out online, and that contributes to their SEO ranking as well as their reputation. So now we go on to the two ways of how to do SEO. First of all, we've got white hat SEO. So now white hat SEO is the more innocent and modest way on how we are able to do SEO, as this can be done through quality content, your keywords, as well as important backlinks. And the way I see it is that when it comes to white hat SEO, any digital marketer, any agency, any business has to be able to strive more for this. And this is the more, you can say, legit way of how you do SEO and how you're managing to build up your rankings. On the other hand, we got black hat SEO, which is more cheeky, deceptive, as well as you could say, it's rather you could say a sneaky way of how you do SEO. So that is through any kind of keywords that don't really relate to what your product, what your service, what your actual company is about. You also got auto commentary. So for example, you see when you are on social media and someone randomly comments though, oh yeah, follow me to actually get this like example discount after, or it's a case that they want you to buy into their products. That is all part of black hat SEO, and that is not really something that any legit marketer wants to strive for. When it comes to links everywhere, there are some people that even go as far as you can say invisible web links in between text, just so that people can click through and actually get ranked higher. Now, when it comes to thinking about white hat as well as black hat SEO, you've got to bear in mind, everyone strives for white hat SEO. Reason why is because if you try black hat SEO though, Google is going to penalize you. And if Google penalizes you, there are serious red tapes within the marketing industry that actually say that you can either be banned off the actual search engine, or it's a case where you can get ranked in the actual lower search engine though. So no one wants to be actually seen in like the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th search page, because no one's got time for that. So as a result, we always contribute towards white hat SEO, because although white hat SEO would take a bit of time, but it's more along the lines where you're building your credibility, you're building a portfolio, and that's what actually helps you get higher within the internet rankings after a while. As you can see, this cute hummingbird. When it comes to Google, Google's got a system called basically Google Hummingbird. Now what that does is that actually is an algorithm in which that actually allows you to, for example, match certain keywords to what the website is about. So Google actually uses this Hummingbird system to actually allow people to say that these are the right keywords though, and this is what the answer is going to be in terms of what you see out on Google. When it comes to Google Panda is more or less, for example, a way of how you can say Google looks at all the low ranking and all the poor quality websites, and actually you see the panda actually, say for example, actually sees the website and actually ranks you lower in the search rankings. And Penguin pretty much catches people out, more or less. So Google Penguin is another system that catches people out that were based on, for example, or like if you're the type where you like to contribute to Black Hat SEO. So if there's anything from what I've said after a while, always stick to white hat SEO, never Black Hat SEO.
Or be very good and never get caught.
Of course. So as you can see now from this software company in America, MuleSoft, if you can see from this actual web page, it's all categorized by different kind of industries, kind of technology, initiatives, and when you think about this actual category, if it's the case where it's very categorized, it means that when it comes to SEO rankings, when it comes to how people are searching for them online, so Google is going to actually, for example, see this as a favorite because there's many different pieces of information that relate to different people, very different consumers, especially how this is in the actual B2B sector. And as it's very categorized, though, that would actually contribute to your, as far as good, that will actually contribute to your website architecture, as well as also how it's structured and how it's going to get ranked on Google. Now, when it comes to this example, if we look at the first part, it says here that it's the best burgers in London, 9 delicious ways you don't want to miss. Now, that's an example of good SEO. Can anyone here tell me why is it good SEO? Can anyone tell me? Don't be shy.
They're shy, just tell them.
They're shy. Right, cool. Okay, so the reason why it's good SEO is because if you look at the title, it's very descriptive, straight to the point. Best burgers in London. And if you look more at the bottom part, that talks about it. You could say, for example, it talks about things such as metadata, and it actually talks about experts that are tried and tested. So in other words, that gives a sense of detailedness, that gives a sense of credibility, and people are more likely to click that compared to this bottom one, where it's a bad way. The reason why it's a bad way is because, see, when it comes to the description, it kind of puts people off. It says once synonymous with soggy buns, and no one really wants to hear anything like grey meat when it comes to trying out burgers. So that's an example that will put someone off when it comes to a search engine ranking.
Right, we had a little game plan, but because Pete loves to talk, we're kind of running out of time. But yeah, will the slides be available for the day? But yeah, basically these, I thought we would have a little game, because these are some of the clients that we're doing now, and this is a standard from Adobe Dreamweaver. When you're actually making the website, these are sort of the things that you will need to fill in per page. In your free time, try to actually come up with those keywords, descriptions, metadata. Trust me, that practice, if you go later in the job or if it's an interview or your own project in uni, that does show quite a bit. Rarely people do know actually how to do it. Now we are going to go on to something more up my street, Instagram stories.
Cool, so fun little facts. End of 2017, Instagram scored around 250 million people were actually using it. Obviously, now that we're almost in the end of this year, that will obviously increase to almost double. So if you look at the timing, we know that when it comes to Instagram is closely linked to Facebook. And the way that I see it is that Facebook is the notable god of social media. So everyone knows about Facebook, it's been around for the longest. However, the way that you should see Instagram stories or Instagram is that Instagram is like, you could say, Facebook's feisty little sister that wants to get all the attention, wants to get all the glory. And then as a result, it actually has managed to do something like that, especially amongst people that are millennials as well as also Gen Xers, and it only takes around 10 to 15 seconds for people to actually see the actual relevance in terms of what your content is about, be it for a story, be it for a picture, be it for a video, and this is literally how Instagram is actually working.
Alright, go chill for a bit. Right, so Instagram stories, it became a 24-hour opportunity for any business. You can do literally anything and everything on there now. because they will disappear within a matter of 24 hours. It's a great testing ground, but we'll go up to that later. The reason why the stories became so incredibly popular is because everybody wants some fresh gossip. Everybody wants to know everything about everyone right now in this second. Instagram was originally the platform to share the images. Now you get to share, it's more of a part of your life, and brands can actually take a big part of it. So yeah, again, unlimited creative features. This is a company, Cisco. They did a proper campaign on Instagram, but I only pulled a few shots. They're based in San Jose in California. They are a digital startup made with, I think they're focusing more on the software side, on the security end. And this is one of the things that a lot of B2B or even our clients that we sit down don't understand. When you think of doing advertising on social media, especially in the B2B sector, a lot of people, they throw out Facebook or Instagram straight away because they think, well, this is not targeted to professionals and we're not going to do it. The reality is Instagram is not a platform for millennials or Gen Z or whatever you want to call them. Everyone has a job, and if you follow them, whatever it is, whether it's conferences, security updates, this is just another channel to get your exposure through. And of course, sorry, I couldn't hold myself without saying not left. And then again, new discoveries, because this is one of the most powerful things that Instagram stories offer to you. It's actually that swipe up that allows you to drive the traffic to wherever you want it. And do not underestimate the power of this tool. It is incredible. Now, this is going to be more on the boring side, but before you do any type of communications, make sure you've got your timings sorted and you know when the target audience is. Please don't use that example. I personally, whatever they call video addict, I cannot believe there is a human being going to bed at 4:20 a.m. and wakes up fresh at 10 a.m. starts checking Messenger. I do not believe that is possible. But when you're doing your project or you're going to, you want to do this in your career, every time you start with a client or a brief, whatever, try to come up with that type of plan, because that will make your life so much easier in the future. If you know where they are and what they're doing and when, it's already more than half of the job is done. Right, now, who is familiar with this girl? Yeah?
I just recognise the statue.
Oh, okay. All right, this was probably the most awarded campaign last year. It was done by McCann Agency in New York. They did it for a charity that's fighting for equal rights for women. What they found out in a brief, most of employers on Wall Street don't even come close to paying equal pay to women and men. So what they did, very low budget, they made a statue of a little girl staring at iconic bull on Wall Street that is about to charge. The reason why it became so successful, it had a meaning behind it. This is not even a real person, but the meaning behind it united a lot of people, men, women, it didn't matter. This is one of the reasons, it spawned thousands of stories. I remember there were politicians from around the world, women coming in, taking pictures. And one of the things that was so popular was Instagram stories. Because they did everything with it. They animated the statue. There were votes, which company is doing better, and it was exposed to the people. The stories don't only give you the opportunity to communicate with the normal people, so it's not only B2C. You can also use normal people to influence businesses, because after it wasn't targeted at businesses at all, but once it got picked up so much, the businesses couldn't fight it. They had to. Okay, they still didn't. It's still not equal the last time I checked, but they closed the gap quite a bit. Alright, yeah, and again, importance of using those geotags, hashtags, anything. Now it's a landmark in New York. If you type in Fearless Girl on Instagram, it actually is a landmark. Okay, now another thought. Whatever you're doing, if whether it's B2C or B2B, think of your Instagram as your own TV channel. Because if your stories, if they don't work, obviously they disappear. But if they do work, you can save them and they become highlights. So again, as I said, every business, it doesn't have only one target audience. You can further segment it and you will find out that there are so many different interests. Like Starbucks doesn't only have millennials or like 10 to 20-year-old people coming in for coffee. It's everyone. And you can't say they are all exactly the same. They all have different things. They all have different hobbies, jobs, professions, whatever. So you have to be able to separate them even further. One of the greatest examples that I found, I'm a big fan of Harley Davidson. I wish I could ride it one day. I wish I could afford to buy it one day, but my mother or my girlfriend will probably kill me if they found out that I bought it.
In time.
I need to break up or wait until my mom dies, probably. But that's the thing. Harley Davidson, they're absolutely fantastic at doing it because you could see all the stories that worked. They save them up in different channels. They've got, and it's actually quite interesting stuff. They've got channels for apparel, the wear, spare parts, how to upgrade your bike. It is absolutely brilliant. And one of the things that they actually do incredibly well is they have live TV all the time, which supports their stories further. And another great thing that personally I think Harley Davidson is doing incredibly well, they're actually ruining a lot of stereotypes with their Instagram. Normally, if you think Harley Davidson, you would portray some, unhygienic, huge biker with hairy armpits who is going to kill you or whatever, mug you and then kill you. But that's the thing, they actually show you that they're normal people, they are designers, architects, dads, whatever, and this is one of the things, how they're breaking down that stereotype, which is incredibly important. Okay, for the B2B application, Adobe, I think by far Adobe is doing it better than anyone else. Yeah, this is Sundance in 2018. They invite all the everyone in the movie industry. Idris Elba, I love that guy. But one of the things that they do well is they use their stories. Adobe has also their own TV channel, but they use their little stories, picture, almost as a, when you go to movies, before you actually get to the feature, you have little trailers going on. Basically, it's a teaser. Use the stories, don't fall into trap thinking that Instagram stories is the only thing you can use. Use it in, Instagram offers you multiple things. And try to use, Instagram Live to actually support your stories, and stories to act almost like teasers to your future presentation. Yeah, and again, one of the greatest examples that I love, pulled it out ages ago. Adobe, because they're sponsoring Cannes Lions, they actually pulled an entire panel of creatives. There were people from BBH, like Haggerty, there were guys from Ogilvy, all the creative directors who sat down and talked about how where the industry is going. Why it's relevant to Adobe is because Cannes Lions, a very expensive event. You can't really go there, or not everyone can get in there. But if you look at those panels and what Adobe does, they actually show how their programs can improve your business or measurement or anything. So this is one of the great examples. I'm not sure what were the exact results, but they did absolutely fantastic job there.
Sweet. Now, from this quote, basically it was by McCann in New York, and they say again. So they said, in God we trust, and everything else we need data. So now what that means, in other words, is that everyone has, you could say, a general overview of religion of God. Everything else, we need data, we need hardcore facts, we need evidence to be able to drive. So, data. everyone needs data. We need to be able to use data to drive forth what it is though that we want to accomplish in our Instagram stories. So we need to obviously see when it comes to Instagram stories, we need to look about who viewed it, also look at things like how old are they, also look at things like, for example, our gender. What kind of insights can we gather from our followers? And that actually helps towards how we can actually be able to deliver much more tailored campaigns. Now, when it comes to knowledge will actually help like actually increase the way we actually see the awareness of what it is that our campaigns are and how we can actually look forward for our goals. And based on data and knowledge put together, we actually summarize to how we can actually improve our campaigns forward, especially with Instagram stories and taking it from a B2B context.
But yeah, just to wrap it up a little bit, these are some of the tools we kind of use nearly on daily basis with any client. By no means they're all the tools out there, or we don't use any other stuff. But these are kind of the pillars and the key ones. If you want to go in the industry, these are the ones that you need to familiarize yourself with. If you're going into more of a creative side, which I always wanted, and that's what I did, I would say start with Adobe, then MailChimp, Hootsuite, and Google Analytics are a must for everyone. If you're going into more of a marketing manager, yeah, forget about the creative stuff. You need to understand how the measuring platforms work. And if you think you can master them in a week or two, no, you can't. Trust me, there are proper courses.
Years.
But yeah, I know you are all eager to get to the pub. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us anywhere on LinkedIn, Twitter, or wherever you want us. And yeah, most importantly, we are actually going to be in Soul Point for the good old times in a couple of hours. If you have any more questions or you want to ask about the career, how to go further, yeah, nip and buy us a beer, we'll tell you everything we know.
Cool, thank you for listening to our presentation.
Well, do we give them advice or are they not ready for it? No, if we, yeah, because Mark told us to leave you with some advice of what we actually learned after uni, after we graduated, and what I wish somebody would have told me when I got my first job in marketing. Probably the first thing would be always do your research. Do not fall into the trap that thinking because you are in marketing, you are already a target audience and you understand, if it's the same age group, don't fall into the trap that you know this target audience. Because you're going to be marketers, you are already an abnormal audience because you understand how brands work, how ads work, and you are never a target audience. Always, always do your research. I've learned it a very hard way, and yeah, I've made a few embarrassing moments with this, so trust me, do the research. And probably the last one, if you're going into the creative side, it doesn't matter how good your ideas are unless you stand up for them. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if there's something like a little sketch on paper or it's written down and you don't fight for it, it's nothing. So don't be afraid to stand up to whoever there are, your bosses, creative directors. If there is always someone who agrees with me, they're useless to me. Why you can't bounce around ideas, you don't grow. There is no point in it.
Cool, so my 2 bits of advice would be, first of all, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. The reason why I say that is because I'm speaking from experience. When I was in first year, as you can probably have noticed though, I was a terrible stammerer. And think about it this way, how many people that are stammerers would actually have the guts to even stand here right now and speak to all of you? Not many would they. And it's, as far as it goes, based on what I actually saw there, which was, you could say, a flaw to some people, I decided to channel that and make myself something great. And as a result, I decided to start a marketing agency. So obviously when it comes to marketing, marketers have to speak to many people. And people that are stammerers want to be hiding in their show, but I chose not to do that. I chose to say, I know that I've got something great. And I know that all of you here, you have something great within you. Especially for the fact where you're now in 3rd year now, you're soon about to graduate. you all have different, you could say, interests, occupations, goals, ambitions. Never let anyone tell you that, for example, that you can't do this. You can do it. And if I can start out a marketing agency, and I see it as like, as far as goes, this is only the you could say, actual start of my journey, then obviously think about it this way though. Just like what, for example, people like Biggie Small said, the sky's the limit. So the sky's the limit, but that means that the sky's the limit for all of you. Secondly, I'd say always come out of your comfort zone. When I actually came to university, I never realized that I'll be working for a Russian guy. Because you've got to bear in mind that, obviously, me coming from London, I mostly don't, you could say, see it as I'm actually going to be someone open-minded. But I chose to be open-minded and say, you know what, look, if I'm going to university, I'm going to meet a lot of people out there. And it's a case where you've got to bear in mind that throughout your life, you are going to meet many people though. But think about this though, you've got to meet many people that actually add value to your life, add value to how you're going to grow, how are you going to actually have a purpose in life. And that's what I believe though is actually valuable for all of us here. Thanks for listening, guys.
I'm sorry, I don't know if that's allowed, but I can't stop myself.
Oh, okay. Quick bomb.
Get in there, come on. Cool.
So guys, we've been a bit of a whistle-stop tour, okay? There's a lot that's been talked about in terms of SEO. Now we've gone through that. I'm hoping now SEO is something that you feel comfortable not only talking about, but comfortable actually being able to recommend. Okay, that's the next stage. We've touched on Instagram stories. You guys know Instagram stories. You guys use Instagram stories. I want you to be thinking about Instagram stories from a marketing perspective, from actually delivering for a brand. That's the key thing. The other reason as well, guys, and I'm going to probably embarrass these people next to me, and apologies in advance. I want you to give an extra round of applause, please, to Peter. I remember in my first, it was actually one of my first ever tutorials here. I remember I asked you to answer a question, and I shit you not, you couldn't answer. See this guy building legacy. Anybody that tells me, I can't do it, I don't want it. There's the door. Behind the door you'll see me, but more importantly you'll see him as well. And he's, look at him. Don't mess with him and don't mess with your ideals. If you want it, you grab it. If you want it, you find enough people. And I love this guy here, right? First time I met this guy, I probably couldn't understand you either. But
No, you couldn't.
The point I'm trying to make is,
No, you couldn't.
the point I'm trying to make is this. In 2040 in the US, there will be more black and Latino people than white. This has already happened in Leicester, and it's going to happen in the UK. The point I'm trying to say is this, guys. You have a unique opportunity here being here. You can make global partners for your future. So I want you just to think about your experience. Don't think of this ending next summer. I want you to think about actually some of the partners that you're making. Peter put it beautifully, and this is the last thing I'll say. Get out of your comfort zone. Would you want to employ yourself in 10 years' time if you've just stayed in your own little comfort zone, talking to the same people that you did in first year and nothing else? Or actually, have you come to appreciate and accept diversity? Makes you a fantastic marketeer.
Digital marketing, the human way.